Aloha, everyone.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha, everyone.
Everybody. Oh, we are hearing ourselves. Sorry, guys. We have to do something about.
I think that turned down
Okay.
the speakers.
Okay, great. We are
Okay.
ready.
And everything seems to be working.
Okay,
Nice.
great. So.
Well, aloha, everybody, and welcome to the second edition of Live from Lemuria.
I see some people already logged in and no? Or maybe not yet.
Oh yeah, there's some people logged in. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So people. So we'll just.
Oh, here. Okay.
Aloha,
Hello.
aloha, Candace. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. If you're logged in and if you can comment, please say hi.
Yeah,
and
let us know where you
let
are
us know
today.
where you are, and let us know you are here.
So we're streaming live, obviously, and we're coming to you from the Hawaiian Islands, which are the ancient mountaintops of Lemuria. Hence the name of this show, Live from Lemuria. Aloha, Bonnie from Pennsylvania.
Hello, Bonnie.
Nice to have you here. So I'm David,
I'm Mamiko.
and we're the co-founders of Lemurian Healing, which is a fifth dimensional healing modality that we've kind of adapted to the challenges of living here in the third dimension. Now, we're here to talk about Lemuria. I'm going to bring this fan down.
Okay.
A little bit too noisy.
It was noisy, huh?
We're here to talk about Lemuria in ways that you probably wouldn't expect or you haven't heard of before. There's information out there in the great wide world and internet about Lemuria. There's not a lot, but there is some.
That is.
And to be honest, most of the stuff out there, we really don't resonate with. And that's okay, because people are tapping into all sorts of frequencies, all sorts of realities and timelines and so forth. And so there is no one definitive answer like, yes, this is the absolute truth about Lemuria.
That is so true.
Right,
Yes.
because that's not the way it is with anything. There's no absolute truth about anything. So what you're going to get from us is our personal connection with Lemuria, our knowing,
Our memories.
things that we've received from our guides about Lemuria. And so as we go through and we talk about things today, try not to filter it through everything that you know. I invite you to listen with your heart and just let your heart tell you if that resonates with you, if that's true for you. Because if it's true for you, if it feels true to you, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter that anybody else agrees with you or gives you confirmation. So I just want to set the stage here because sometimes,
Yeah.
people are looking for the absolute truth, but we're here sharing what's true for us from our experience.
And hopefully, if it helps you, please take it. If it doesn't help you, just let it go.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. We're not trying to convince you of anything, and
that's
there's
true.
no expectation that you need to absolutely agree with everything that we say. But yeah, that's a perfect point. Just take, if something's meaningful for you or if you feel useful, take it and just
Otherwise, just let it
ignore the rest. Now today we're going to focus on Lemurian goddesses and Lemurian goddess temples. When I've mentioned things in the past about Lemurian goddesses, I get emails and text and messages like, "Oh, tell us more about Lemurian goddesses." Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to focus on Lemurian goddesses, Lemurian goddess temples, because we happen to have an expert in the house. So Mamiko and I have been doing Lemurian healing together for 15 years. We've been teaching it together. But that's not the only thing that we've been doing. Mamiko has focused her work
Yeah.
on Lemurian goddesses, right?
That is true.
And temple work with Lemurian goddesses. And I've focused on other aspects of Lemurian wisdom and channeling and, ascension and changing consciousness. But
You wanna
here's,
show the
oh yeah.
book.
So Mamiko has published a book in Japan on Lemurian goddesses. But I was going to just say, here's the thing. She's published a book, and she's been teaching about Lemurian goddesses for, how many years now?
12.
12 years, right? But I don't speak Japanese. I don't read Japanese. So my knowledge of Lemurian goddesses is about this deep. Because we're together, I've picked up some, and obviously I have a foundational understanding, but I've never been able to read her book. I've never been able to go to any of her workshops. I mean, she's taught dozens of workshops all over Japan and online for the last few years, teaching about Lemurian goddesses. So this is kind of a treat because I get to find out and ask questions about Lemurian goddesses and learn things that I just don't know. And you get to do that with me. So this is kind of fun. Okay.
Let's go.
So let's go. Let's go. And as we're chatting, if anything comes up, if a question comes up, just pop it in the chat and we'll do our best to get to it. So let's see. We got Jill Aloha from New York.
Hello.
They're in the Hudson River. And Aloha, my friend, I wish it looks like it's a Turkish name. But it could be wrong.
I can't pronounce, but thank you for
thank you for joining us. I'm so sorry that I don't even want to try because I would
true.
not do well.
Yeah.
Marion from the Netherlands, aloha. Nathan, aloha.
Yes.
And Marion, Marie Angelique from Toronto, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. So, you wrote a book on Lemurian goddesses. You've been channeling Lemurian goddesses, and you've been doing temple work. So, and I'm especially curious about the temple work because I've heard that the wisdom of Lemurian healing, that whole concept of Lemurian, came from Lemuria's goddess temples. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I definitely want to get into that. So I want to just go ahead.
In fact, in my belief, and also with my teacher's teaching, everything about Lemuria came from Goddess Temple. Everything Lemuria came from Goddess Temple.
Wow. So everything that we know, we experience in Lemuria, came from the Goddess temples.
All the knowledge Lemurian elders hold, it all came from Goddess Temple. Okay. That's a wow. That's my teacher told me. And that's what I've been also discovering as I connect with Lemurian goddess temples.
Okay, that's huge.
That's huge, right?
Right. Okay, I want to get to that, but I want to just back up just a minute first. It's like there's not information on the internet or in books about Lemurian goddesses. I mean, except for yours. How did you even discover Lemurian goddesses in the first place? Well,
to begin with, the first was I was told from my teacher, our mutual teacher, Master Seventh Dimension Master.
The Seventh Dimensional Master Guide, yeah.
Our mentor has channeled for a long time.
Yeah.
So Lemurian goddesses were introduced to me by Master Guide, Seventh Master Guide. However, he never even mentioned about a word about Goddess Temple to me or to anybody. So I had no idea. So I knew in my head that there are some Lemurian goddesses, but I never had I never imagined there were goddess temples in Lemuria. However, one day I was meditating in a park, lying down on the ground, beautiful sunny day in Hawaii, and then I start seeing vision of Lemurian goddess temples. There was Can I go
Sure.
on, or do you want
No,
to
no.
ask me a question?
No.
Okay, so for the first, I saw 5 goddess temples. So the 5 goddess temples was 4 outside and creating circle and 1 in the middle. And the 1 in the middle was love goddess temple. And the one on the east was wind goddess temple. And south, it was fire goddess temple. And west was water temple, and north was earth temple. So I clearly saw it, and I was like, oh my, were there goddess temples in Lemuria? So I immediately went to booked private session with my mentor and asked my seventh
Dimensional guide,
seventh dimensional guide, and he said, "Oh, Mamiko, you finally found it." And I said, "What? You knew there were, and how you didn't tell me?" And he said, "Oh, that's something you needed to discover on your own." So that's how I discovered, and ever since then, I don't want to say the word obsessed. I was so fascinated by the Lemurian goddess temples, and from that day, it became my sacred mission about connecting with Lemurian goddess temples and just why now, why it's happening, why it's showing up in my life. What is the meaning? What do I need to know about these temples? And just, how is it gonna affect to my life? Current life.
So this is interesting. So you got a vision of 5 goddess temples, 4 elemental goddesses, and then love goddess in the center. Before that, did you even know that these 5 goddesses existed?
I knew those elemental goddesses, but I didn't know there was love goddess.
A love goddess in the center.
I didn't.
So once you connected and discovered, obviously it piqued your interest because you started following the trail. But how did it feel to have that kind of, for lack of a better word, discovery? How did it feel to discover that?
You know what? To be honest with you, I just felt destiny. Sacred destiny. And when I found it, I felt like, wow, this could be one of the reasons why I came to Earth plane this time.
Is to connect with goddess temples.
So I felt in my heart, and I thought this is something I have to go deep. And I thought this could be one of the reasons why I reconnect with Lemuria.
That makes sense.
And by then, I was already teaching Lemurian healing to people in Japan. Then I realized, I was taught by my mentor that, Mamiko, even Lemurian healing came from Goddess Temple. Lemurian healing was born in Goddess Temple. And I was just so chilled. Like, what? The Lemurian healing I thought I discovered in this lifetime, and I thought we created together. But then later on, I found out Lemurian healing was born in Lemurian Goddess Temple, and I was there as a priestess and practicing Lemurian healing in Goddess Temple.
So you remember being a priestess?
Of course.
Oh, okay, now it's starting to make sense that you're not just connecting with these temples from like an observer point of view. You actually worked in the temple or served in the temples.
Yes.
Okay, and this brings up an interesting question about temples, because when we think about ancient temples in the past, whether it's Greece or Roman times, I tend to think about, I think in general we think, okay, that's a place where you worship the goddess, where you give offerings and so forth. Was that going on in goddess temples in Lemuria?
No, it was completely different.
Tell us how.
In the Lemuria goddess goddess temples were where this is where it gets really hard for me to explain, because it's Lemurian goddess temples were at 6th dimension. It was higher dimension than Lemuria itself. Lemuria reached highest at fifth
Fifth-dimensional
dimension.
reality,
And
yeah.
Lemurian goddess temples were on a 6th dimension. So when I start tapping in and start talking about it, especially in English, which is not even my mother language, it gets really complicated. So, what can I say? Lemurian goddess temples, yes.
So it wasn't about worship.
No.
Okay, we weren't worshiping then, right?
No.
But you were. But there was obviously a purpose for the temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you said everything that existed in Lemuria came through these goddess temples. So what were the priestesses doing?
Before I go there, can I just say, this is something you might resonate with, or you may think, oh, no, I cannot accept. That's fine. But I'm just going to say it because it's my truth. And this was also I was told by my mentor. So the first function of existence of Lemurian goddess temples were, the goddess temples were the womb to create Lemuria.
Okay, so they were the sacred womb that,
in a way, in a birth canal. Is that what you guys
birth
say?
canal? It's like they gave birth to Lemuria. Okay.
Because Lemuria had to be created by somebody.
Right.
And to create Lemuria, all the light being had to come from different dimension and planet or different realm. At the beginning, basically, it was angels and Elven.
Elven came together.
But before that, somebody had to create energetically and prepare so everybody can come in. So Lemurian goddess temples were there aesthetically to create or to give birth to Lemuria.
Okay, so Lemuria was manifested because of, the temples essentially manifested Lemuria.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I'm assuming now that the temples are connected to the goddesses.
Goddesses are the temple.
Okay.
Temples are the extension of goddess energy, and it's on a 6th dimension, so it's energy expanding. It's expanding, it's changing, it's transforming all the time. It's on a 6th dimension.
Well, this is huge because, and when we think of temples, we think of, a structure, a column. Even if it's an outdoor temple, we think of some kind of structure. So this is completely different.
Yeah. So in a way, just like we are the spirit, but our physical bodies are extension of us, right? Well, we can call it vehicle. But so temples are the extension of the goddesses. And I don't want to say vehicle or building for. So
no, it's an extension of it, but
extension.
Because goddesses exist at higher dimensions, higher frequencies.
Right.
But in this 6th dimensional realm, the goddesses manifested temples, and they were kind of living, organic, basically spirit.
So so everybody, I'm sorry. So everybody, I hope you, I hope we're not boring you. I don't talk about Lemurian goddesses or temples so often in public. I only share with handful of people who comes to my really sacred closed circle, because it's so out there and so ooh, and not so many people can take it or resonate with it or even understand. So I think today this is as far as I go.
Okay. No, I appreciate that because just knowing that these temples existed and were kind of like a bridge. So what I'm picturing is that these temples were a bridge between the goddess realms, who are ultimately responsible for evolution, and the actual manifestation of what happened here. So Okay, so 6-dimensional goddess temples. And
Can I just say?
you know,
I know I don't, here's the thing. Once I open
Yeah.
the gate, it just comes in.
No.
I don't want to go too deep or too woo-woo, but as the temple was an extension, just like temple were extension of goddesses, priestesses were also, in a way, I don't want to say extension, but part of the goddess. Priestesses were not there to worship goddesses, but priestesses were like, in a way, physical manifestation of
The
goddesses,
goddess.
a part of the goddesses. And so, in a way, priestesses were the bridge between goddess and Lemuria.
Lemuria. That makes sense. Wow. So, through all of the history of Lemuria's evolution, these goddess temples were kind of guiding the whole process.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything came through. So, as fifth-dimensional beings, I'm just picturing us back in Lemuria, fifth-dimensional beings, light bodies. We don't have to eat. We're breathing prana. I mean, we're pretty high vibrating.
Yes.
Could we see these temples?
No. Because different dimension.
Different dimension.
So Lemurian people, most of Lemurian people are at the fifth dimension, right? So and goddess temples was sixth dimension. So people in Lemuria they all knew there are goddess temple exists somewhere etherically in a higher
Right.
realm, but they couldn't see it.
So we could communicate with, probably in meditation, with priestesses
Priestesses.
or goddesses. I mean,
Here's what happened. Okay,
no. This is it's okay because people are saying this is interesting stuff.
So this is what happened. Priestesses were communicating with people in Lemuria 2 or 3 ways. One is they can project their etheric body like a projector, like a movie to Lemurian people. That's number one.
Okay.
Number 2 is priestesses were working with priests. So priests were the one who are on Lemuria,
Fifth dimensional
fifth
level.
dimensional, and they're the one who was communicating with priestesses.
Priestesses.
And they're the one who was sharing information with
With the
Lemurian people.
Interesting.
Interesting, right?
And also, when we say priest or priestess, I don't want to get too hung up on third dimensional genders because from the fifth dimension up onward, everything's pretty much divine feminine anyway. So even though there might be something called priest or priestess, male, female, in Lemuria, it wasn't as dramatic a difference between, I'd say, genders than in human experience or third dimensional experience.
May I share just one
No,
more?
you're plugged in and turned on, so I don't want to turn you
I'm
off.
really bad, aren't I? I said, I'm
No.
not going to share anymore. And it just said, oh,
But goddesses are going, no, one more thing.
I have to share one more. I am going to share. I would like to share one more. And thank you for listening, everybody. So when Lemurian Goddess Temple and Lemurian Goddesses came back to me, my biggest question was, what do I need? Why it came back to me? What is the core message or core teaching of Lemurian Goddess Temple?
I was going to ask that. I was going to
Oh,
ask.
really?
Yeah. So what? Yeah. So there has to be some reason why you reconnected, you remembered, because it's not just for entertainment purposes.
Right. And so that was my biggest thing that I wanted to know. And as I reconnect with goddess temples and goddesses, I finally understood this is why, and this is my life purpose. And this is something I really want to dive in. And from that day, it became my core teaching. Lemurian Goddess Temples came back to me because their core teaching is awakening to our inner goddess. Me and anybody who is ready to admit I am divine, inside of me I have eternal light, I am goddess, I am God, I am divine, I am higher self. Whatever the word resonate. For me, inner goddess is the word resonate with me most. So I am going to say inner goddess, but that doesn't mean only feminine energy. It's just
right. It's another term for what some would call higher self, inner being.
So in Lemurian time, in a way, the Lemurian goddess temple existed so people never forget that their connection with divine within. So, but since Lemuria, so many of us lost the connection with our divine, and because it is time, all of us will remember who we are. We are divine, we are goddess, and it's time to go back to our divine energy, goddess energy, and that's the core teaching of Lemurian Goddess Temple. And in a way, Lemurian healing is because ultimate healing is going back to who you are.
Right. So it's returning. It's not trying to recreate Lemuria or go back to Lemuria, but return to your divine self.
Yes, and if you truly align with your divine self, everything will be healed. I mean, that's a healing.
That's the goal of healing, essentially. Yeah,
everything was solved.
Resolved,
right. Yeah, that's the ultimate healing, to align with your inner goddess, inner higher self, whatever.
So we're here.
Make sense? I'm
no,
sorry.
No.
I'm not so good at explaining in English.
I know.
Can you clean up for me?
You're doing great. Don't worry.
Thank you.
So we're here to reawaken the goddess within, which essentially means reconnecting with our divine self.
Yes.
And the more we get aligned with that true version of us, that true self, everything gets healed along the way.
Yes.
Right. And that makes sense that Lemurian healing is a pathway to get you there.
Right.
I know, we're not going to get into it today, but I know, for a decade you've been teaching Lemurian goddess wisdom, you've been channeling Lemurian goddesses. So that's a lot deeper and deeper and higher.
Deeper and higher, and if you think Lemurian healing is powerful, come to Goddess Temple. It's like 100 times powerful.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to come to Lemurian Goddess Temple, you need to be prepared.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can't even get in, and even if you get in, all you see is fear, because it will. How can I explain?
No, you have to be ready. You have to be at a
ready.
certain frequency and ready. Otherwise, you can't connect with that temple. You can't receive the wisdom of that temple if you're not ready.
Right.
So Lemurian healing is a really great gateway to that. And that's one reason we love teaching, is because it even just Lemurian healing, someone doesn't need to want to be a healer to get the benefit of Lemurian healing, because things start to shift. You start to realign with who you truly are, reconnecting with Lemurian memories and wisdom and so forth. So that's like a great stepping stone in this path of ascension, enlightenment, whatever we're going to call it. We're just going to quickly look at some comments here.
Okay.
Somebody knows. No. I'm just going to go backwards. So someone said, how do you know if you're ready for the temples?
Your heart will know.
Yeah, your heart. That's always, that's actually, that's the answer to almost every question.
Your heart will know. If you feel like, wow, I really want to go back. Wow, I really want to get to know with Lemurian goddesses. And wow, I feel like I used to be there too. Wow. I'm so fascinated. My heart say, I want to know more. Then you're ready.
Yeah. So your heart will always know, but that is an awesome question because we need to know that we're ready. And I was getting goosebumps when you were saying I used to be there because we know we used to be there. But I know a lot of people, obviously you're tuning in because you feel a connection with Lemuria, but a lot of people are starting to remember, hey, I used to be a priestess, or I used to, serve this role in Lemuria. And sometimes you don't even want to admit it to yourself, going, what, really?
Can I just share one more thing?
You don't have to ask, you just go.
Okay, so when can I talk about anything about Lemuria? Okay,
Sure.
I'm just going to go for
briefly,
it.
Briefly talk about the ending of Lemuria.
So when Lemuria was going to end, that was like a graduation. We know that's our journey. That's everybody's choice. But we are kind of a little sad.
Well, because we were so attached. It was such a big thing. Even though we knew it was coming, it was a big thing.
And so when Lemuria ended, we priestesses decided to close the gateway of Lemurian Goddess Temple. And we were planning to open when we are ready, or the planet is ready. And we priestesses promised each other, when we open this gate again on this planet, we all gonna incarnate to this planet together, and we will walk on to spread divine feminine energy and teaching Lemurian goddess wisdom together.
Wow. Just hearing you say that is making me choked up.
So,
because I can feel how many priestesses have reincarnated here and taken physical form.
So when I got this information, I wasn't so sure how many ladies in Japan are ready to hear, but I was so surprised. So many of them came to me and they said, I was there and I was meant to do this. I was meant to hear from you.
That's powerful. And I've been there, even though I don't understand a lot of Japanese, but I've been there when some of these women have remembered their connection, and you can just the realization that they were there is just huge, and it transforms their current life because you realize, okay, I have a connection I didn't know I have, and I really came here on purpose.
Right, and Lemurian Goddess Temple is just so powerful. And when I do Goddess Temple work, I don't promise ladies to come to my workshop that, your dream will come true, or you're going to find your love, or you will make more money. I don't promise any of these things. And only my promise is we will work on together to awaken our inner goddess. However, within 2 months or so, I saw, as soon as they came and working with me, like for 6 months program.
6 month program.
And 2 ladies, within 2 months, they bought their dream house. And a woman who couldn't find their soulmate love for 8 years found the love of her life.
Love of her life.
And there's a woman who's been struggling with their business, and no matter what she did, she couldn't make any money. And so she kind of gave up on her business, and she wasn't doing anything. I mean, spiritual business. But ever since she came to my Goddess Temple work, she said, oh my God, I'm not doing anything, but just my clients start coming back to me and they are finding me, and I've been teaching again, and all kinds of weird things.
Not weird things, but that shows the power of alignment. Like, you're not saying, oh, I'm going to do this work so I can manifest this. It's like, no, I'm going to reawaken my inner goddess. I'm going to connect with goddess temples. And just by virtue of doing that, you start lining up.
It just proves to me, and of course there was a woman who were being suffering disease for like how many years? More than 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
She done everything to heal it. No matter what she did, she couldn't heal it. And she came to my goddess temple, and after 6 months, her disease got, how do I say, temporarily cured.
Well, just kind of went into remission, yeah.
Yes, and she was just so amazed. And so I am so convinced that aligning with your divine self, inner goddess, higher self, whatever you call it, is ultimate healing.
Yeah.
And the Lemurian healing is the one to help you to get there.
Yeah, Lemurian Healing definitely helps you start down that path.
Right.
While you were sharing, there's some people
Yeah.
sharing, they got wild goosebumps, truth bumps all over me.
Oh, I'm so
Out
glad.
there, so-
I'm so glad
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
boring
so-
you guys.
No, sweet. Don't ever think that
Oh.
this is boring, because this is the first time we've been able to
I
chat
know,
like this.
I know.
And as I said, I know some things, but hearing you share more detail just it fills my heart, because all these years I haven't been able to appreciate the details of what you share with your students in Japan. So thank you so much for sharing so much about goddess temples. And
Sure.
I know we just scratched the surface, but we'll definitely have to go deeper, especially if you folks have more questions about.
I have to practice my English.
No, no.
more, shouldn't I?
No, your English is perfectly fine. Don't worry. People can feel it, even if you're not finding the best words you feel.
Yeah.
People are getting it. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay, let's move on.
Just great. Just in the time we have left,
Yes.
we've received so many questions. Like,
What time even now?
yeah, we do.
We've been talking about for such a long time.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
But we received so many questions, like overwhelmed with questions. And what we've decided is, okay, we can't just go through, a list and going boom, 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 because there wouldn't be enough focus. I think you might get bored. So what we've decided is we're going to start grouping up the questions we have received into topics or themes, so that we can really dive deep, answer all your questions about this particular aspect of Lemuria or healing or whatever it is. So if you've submitted questions and we're not answering you directly today, just know that we have a larger plan of grouping these things. Okay? So I'm just going to go through a handful that we got.
Okay.
We'll just go through quickly. Can you confirm that we were living in a fifth dimensional existence in Lemuria?
Yes.
Okay, yes, absolutely. We were light body beings, which means we had physical form, but they were much less dense than these current human forms. We didn't need to eat. We were breathing prana light as a way of sustaining ourselves. So yes, we were physical, but it was a completely different reality, both our own reality, but the reality around us. So yes, let's call it a fifth dimensional existence. Next one. We talked about Lemurian angels briefly in our first episode back in July.
Right.
But this one is asking, are there Lemurian angels? And if so, how do we find out more information about them? Are there Lemurian angels?
Yes, there are. But here's the thing. Angels are everywhere, anywhere, anytime.
Right. I mean, angels just are. Angels exist.
Right.
Right? So regardless of who's incarnating when into Egypt, Lemuria, Atlantis, Texas, wherever you're incarnating, angels exist.
However, there are some angels who came down at the very beginning of the Lemuria to become Lemurians.
The first Lemurians.
First Lemurian. So we might be able to call that angel
Lemurian angel.
Right.
Very good point. As we described previously, Lemuria was a co-creation of the angelic realm and the Elven realm. And as we've learned today, goddesses were guiding the whole thing. Lemurian goddesses were guiding the whole thing, and the temples, Lemurian goddess temples, were an integral part of how that actually manifested. But angels and Elven came together to create Lemuria. So there were some original angels who decided to incarnate initially. So the only way that I would say that you can learn more about them is, now that you know they exist, go into meditation, set your intent to connect with one, right? Your intention going into meditation, that's the easiest way, don't you think? So I would say go for it. And if you find out any information you'd love to share, just let us know. Okay. As a Lemurian soul, is it possible to activate Lemurian healing within us? And if we already do energy healing, how would we go about practicing Lemurian healing? Well, the answer is yes. If you feel like you had a Lemurian lifetime or lifetimes, you're a natural born healer. It's just integral because it is who you are. So if you feel like you're doing energy, or if you're doing healing work in this lifetime, it's definitely not the first time, right? You've done healing many, many times. So this is perfect timing for this question, because yes, you can awaken Lemurian healing energy within you. You can remember what it's like to do Lemurian healing, and I conveniently have a way to help you make that happen. Conveniently enough, coincidentally enough, just this morning I opened up registration for my new Lemurian Healing Masterclass. I've presented this a few times. It's always a hit, always get wonderful feedback, but this is a really easy way to kind of reconnect with your Lemurian healing self, or just experience Lemurian energy once again. It's a free masterclass. I'm presenting it twice this month at different times, so you can pick the time and date that's most convenient for you. For details, you can go to lemurianhealing.com/secret, and it'll give you all the details, and you can register for either one of these live presentations. But yeah, reawakening your Lemurian healing abilities, reconnecting with Lemurian wisdom and energy is really straightforward. And I love doing this because it's an easy way for you to experience Lemurian energy firsthand.
Yeah, and I highly recommend to come something like this, because it's easy to remember when you are guided by somebody who already remember or who already knows. That's how I learned or tapped in Lemurian healing energy. I was guided by my mentor, and also even for Lemurian goddesses and Lemurian goddess temple, I just couldn't do it by myself. As I remember, I always consult with my teacher, and the teacher give me more information, and then, but he doesn't tell me everything.
Right.
Just, he said, this is your assignment. But until you come to see me next time, meditate on this and get more information, and then I will give you more information, but that kind of thing. But having mentor and lead you, guide you, and confirm with you what you are doing well, and also encourage you, that's just such a gold and so important, and it's such a shortcut.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's a shortcut.
It's such a shortcut.
Thanks for pointing that out, because I do in this masterclass, I do guide you to connect with that energy and how to start using that energy immediately, and giving you some just very simple instructions on how you can start applying what you learned in the masterclass to your daily life and start healing various aspects of your life. So yeah, it is a shortcut, and
it's free.
And it's free. It's free. Yeah. So enough said. So anyway, lemurianhealing.com/secret, or I put a link down in the description below this video if you want to join me on October 16th or 17th. Okay, just a couple more questions. Next question. I have energy in my solar plexus that's not mine. It makes me physically sick. How can I deal with this in a Lemurian way? And a related question is, how do you stay energetically true to yourself when you're in a dense or toxic environment, like going to a shopping mall or you're out in the crowds?
You want to answer that?
Well, I think you and I would answer this two different ways, depending on whether someone has just started to awaken spiritually.
Right.
or if somebody is connected and is already communicating with their higher self and guides and angels and so forth. So for someone who's a newbie, like brandly, like new to this stuff, what would you say?
I would say, just imagine you are a bright light and you are surrounded by this bright light when you go to shopping mall or some crowded place. So you feel you are protected by this bright light.
Yeah, I mean, and it's less about, keeping bad stuff out, is more that you're setting your intention that I'm radiating this high bright vibration, and in that way you're not attracting stuff that's going to be unpleasant or
that's
unwanted.
the easiest way. So so many people ask me same question, so I always try to answer according to their level, because the highest level is if you are truly aligned with your inner goddess, nothing will affect you. That's the highest level.
Well, and that's ultimately, I guess,
Yeah.
it sounds like tough love, but when I have client sessions, I basically just keep reminding clients or students like that you have to stay in alignment and not give your attention to that stuff.
Right. So if you are truly aligned with your inner goddess, divine, higher self, nothing will affect you. But so many of us can't,
You can't maintain that all the time.
maintain that connection. And also, if you are just spiritual beginner, you don't even know how to do it. So in that case, I always say, imagine white bright around you.
Yeah. And for those who are more kind of advanced and awakened, I would also add this. If you're experiencing something like that, like you feel there's some kind of energy in your field that's not yours, you're not a victim. Somehow you're attracting that.
Right.
It's just, I know it's tough to hear sometimes, but you're attracting that. So
I know.
either you quickly figure out why you are attracting it and focus on healing that, or you just let it go completely. Because the more you focus on it, the more it's going to persist. So the wisest, more advanced way of dealing with this is just work on your alignment and don't even think about it. Because the more you think about it, the more you talk about it, it's just going to persist.
So in a way, if you start feeling like, oh, I'm being affected in this place, you have to find a way somehow reset your energy. So reconnect. So if I'm talking to somebody and if I start feeling my energy going down, I might just say, excuse me, I have to go to bathroom or something. And I just go to the bathroom and breathe in, breathe out, try to reconnect to my inner goddess and then reset my energy, then go back. Yeah, this kind of work just over and over again, it takes time and effort, but that's the only way.
Yeah, and we live in the third dimension, and this is just part of living in the third dimension. We knew it was going to be like this, so we just have to find the best way of working with it day by day. It's not something that we're ever going to just completely be free of as long as we're in these dense physical bodies. All right. Okay, we have time for one more question. Somebody emailed me last week and said, hey, I was hiking on Mount Shasta. I found this stone with a strange symbol painted or etched on it. So she was asking, she had a feeling maybe this is part of some kind of Lemurian language or character. She said, how can I find out the meaning? And I love questions like this because it's always about getting your own answer, ultimately.
Right.
But what I said was, well, the kind of Lemuria, or the frequency of Lemuria that I connect with is a fifth dimensional reality like we've been talking about. And we didn't have a need for a written language. We were telepathic. We communicated from our hearts telepathically. Sometimes we created glyphs or symbols to encapsulate a story or a piece of wisdom or some knowledge. But even that energetic glyph we created from light, two people could connect with that glyph and have completely different experiences.
That's so true. Yeah.
So I wrote back to her and said, hey, the only way I know of that you can find out what this means is go into meditation and connect with the symbol and have a conversation with it. Ask it, what do you have to share with me? So I think that's always something that I think we come back to, is no matter what question comes up, what about this? What about that? As Mamiko said earlier, all you have to do is ask your heart. Or all you have to do is connect with this thing, ask your heart, is this true for me? Or what wisdom do you have to share with me?
That is so true. That's all about it, right?
Yeah. Wow.
We just talked non-stop.
I know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and letting us follow this conversation wherever we've been guided to take it.
Yeah, we are being guided. I talked more than I thought I would.
Yes, you did, but it was great because
Yeah.
what you shared was fascinating. I mean, I love hearing more details. So
Really?
yeah, I did. So we're just making this up as we go along.
We're not making this up.
No,
We're channeling.
That's not what
We're
I mean.
channeling. We're not making this up. We're
No.
channeling.
Right. We're not making things up.
We're
We're channeling. What I meant to say is the format of this kind of conversation, we're just kind of feeling our way through it. Like this is our second time. And we just want to evolve this, and we're just going to trust the process of, however this evolves. So we've got another one of these live chats coming up in November. But before that, we're going to be doing a live long distance healing
Right.
on October 22nd. And you only can participate in this live long distance healing event if you're on my email list. So make sure you click down the link below this video to get on my email list, because we did this once, the first time last month, where people submitted healing requests and my guides picked 3 people, and Mamiko and I guided group long distance healings for these 3 people. We went through one at a time. And the cool thing was, everybody tuning into the live broadcast got to send their healing love and light to each of these people. And even more fascinating, and I got so many emails about this,
Yeah.
people who watched the recording participated in the healing as if they were watching it live. And every single person said, oh my goodness, I could feel the energy. I could feel the differences between the 3 different healing sessions. And a couple people just outright said, you are absolutely right. Time and space does not exist, because I felt like I was there in real time. And I felt like I was actually helping to heal these people. And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, because not only was the experience really fulfilling when we did it live, but getting all that feedback, all the people who watched the recording, that just touched my heart. So Mamiko and I are going to do this regularly. So on October 22nd, we're doing our next live long distance group healing. And if you have no experience whatsoever with healing, no problem. You can join in. I guide everybody step by step so that everybody can feel like what it's like to allow healing light to flow through them. And more importantly, send it to one of our sisters and brothers around the world who really needs healing.
That's
So,
fun.
yeah, so look forward to that. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
All of you from around North America and Europe, and my friend from Hungary, thank you very much. I will learn how to pronounce your name, my friend. But all of you from
Hey, did
Europe.
I just see Japanese too?
Is it?
No, I don't even know how to use this map. Oh, here.
Oh. Yeah, someone
Yeah.
from Japanese, in Japanese.
It must be early in Japan.
It's very early in
Thank
Japan.
you for tuning in.
But thank you,
oh,
everyone.
there's one more.
Oh, Maki-san.
Maki-san, thank you. Must be really early
It's
in
real.
Japan.
Early. But everyone, thank you so much for spending this time with us. And even if you're watching the recording, just know that we can feel your love and light, because time and space don't exist.
Right.
Right? And we can feel your love. And we feel like we're starting to, feel the energy of a Lemurian.
Oh, there's a Julie Winka. Hello,
Hello,
Julie.
Bonnie, Jill, Julie. Wow.
Wow.
Some new friends, some old friends.
Yeah.
But it's starting to feel like a...
Yeah. And also ladies in Glastonbury we met long time ago also sending us email as well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Cute. I want to go back to Glastonbury one day.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a
Someday
story.
we will.
That's a story for another day.
Another day, yeah.
Avalon, Glastonbury, and the
Very-
connection with Lemuria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll make-
I did a workshop one day about that topic.
That's right. So we'll talk about
We
that.
can talk about it too.
Okay. Everyone, thank you
Everybody,
so much
thank
for doing
you
this journey
so
with us, and we
much.
really look forward to staying connected and seeing you next time.
Mm-hmm.
We send you our love and light from Lemuria.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha.
Mahalo.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. And we look forward to seeing you all sometime soon.